What is up guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today is our final Q&A which we recorded in Bentota on our 42nd day of cycling around Sri Lanka. In this video we share our honest opinions on Sri Lanka, the destination, its people and our experiences. This video is sponsored by Skillshare and a little more on that later on.
Alright guys, we are at our final evening and also happens to be the first time we got in the pool for the whole trip.
Yeah, but at least we got in the ocean, so that's good.
Yeah, so we thought we'd reflect on this whole trip because today we are just so exhausted and the south coast is not really in season yet.
But we will be back to document it when it's in peak season. It's just that I think after 40 days we are really reaching the end of our stamina and endurance to cycle, film, edit, wake up early, cycle, film, edit, repeat.
And even just mentally just exhausted to plan right now.
Yes.
It's really hard.
But of course, thank you so much for following our journey right up until the end. If you are here from the beginning, because and if there is anything that you want to know in detail about some of the places you have seen, you can be sure that we will be diving deeper into some of these locations. This trip has been a lot like a recce for us. We have seen so many new things that we have to go in deeper and explore, and that makes me very excited.
Definitely.
I think we will be exploring Sri Lanka for the rest of our life, and there'll still be new things
For sure.
all the time. What did you learn on this trip?
Okay, so I think from all the things I've already known, having traveled Sri Lanka so much, to this trip, one thing I learned is that the people are so friendly. Every time before that we've traveled, we've gone by vehicle and we've only interacted with like people in the industry, and
Yeah.
they've been obviously very hospitable.
And we have met a
warm.
few people along the way when
Along
we
the way.
stopped for like a
But all
king
people
coconut.
who are somewhat related to the industry or stakeholders of the industry, and we've always assumed that obviously stakeholders in the industry were
or a
very,
good representative.
yeah, and warm and welcoming.
Yeah.
But on this trip we just met random people, you know, the gentleman on the tractor,
Yes.
the school principal.
And the interesting thing is, here we were approached by common people around Sri Lanka, and that was very interesting because we didn't have to even try to initiate contact. I mean, sure, we would smile at people and they would smile back, and that would pique interest. But some people would just walk up to us and ask us, what are you doing? Where are you coming from? Where are you going? Are you serious in cycling around the country? That's so cool. I would
Yeah.
love to do that someday as well. And there's a lot of respect for the fact that you are cycling around the island, which was very interesting for me. But also, people were very, very welcoming. They were concerned about your safety. They wanted to make sure you were okay, invite you home for a cup of tea, and we had a chance to have that real authentic experience a couple of times if it wasn't for the fact that we were
Exactly.
running late. Yeah.
So I'm going to add one more thing.
Yes, yes.
I learned on this trip that most often people will reflect what you put towards them. I think when we were cycling, so many people looked at us with these dead, you know,
Stony stairs.
stony stares, and normally we would also think, oh, they're weird.
No,
Or
I
like,
think we
oh,
would be a bit frightened.
yeah, and like not try even to associate with them. But on this trip, I think we both learned
All you need to do is smile.
just smile,
Smile at anyone.
and talk to them, tell them what you're doing, and then immediately it all changes. These people who look like murderers.
That's a bit harsh.
Yeah, but I mean, in your mind, you think the worst.
Because of the
case.
situation, you think of the worst case when
Yeah.
you venture out into the unknown. But what you really realize is that in Sri Lanka, all you need to do is smile at someone, and they've already taken you under their wing.
Yeah.
You're part of their family. Come home for tea. Let me change your tire for you, you know. And I just want to say that hospitality is not limited only for tourists in Sri Lanka. As a local, I thought that that would be the case. But the further and further away I went from Colombo, the more I realized that even if you're from out of town, people will go that extra mile to make sure you're okay in their town.
Next question. Has it been physically challenging to cycle to e-cycle all around Sri Lanka?
I will answer this question. When I left Colombo, like I said many times during the series, I was very nervous, unsure, very anxious about what my physical capabilities are in a journey like this. We did train ourselves to do about 30 kilometers manually without electric, and we were going to depend on the 40 odd that the electric would give us, giving us a fair 70 that we would be able to cover. But knowing that there were 100 and 120 km stretches that we would have to cover as well, I was very nervous. Again, for context, have not worked out properly for a very long time, not a cyclist, and actually my fitness was subpar when we began this. And from that point of view, and that could be a lot of people who love travel but who aren't necessarily like into fitness, you might think, oh, that's not for me because I'm not fit. But the interesting thing with the e-cycle is, I feel like anybody can easily get their endurance up to do 30 km, right? And once you have that as a backup, the other 40 on an e-bike makes it so much more easier. Your journey is smoother, and actually I feel like you spend less time physically straining to cycle and you have more time to engage with your surroundings. I felt like I engaged less with my surrounding when I was actually cycling, but with the e-cycle it was just so doable. And so no, it is not physically challenging as you think, and it is actually something that's very doable for a lot of people. So that is very exciting for me, because the idea that so many more people, regardless of their fitness level, can experience this is really, really encouraging. It is also amazing for small vendors, amazing for sustainability, and just overall regeneration of tourism in a positive sense.
Yeah, and I think one more thing to add into that is actually it is a far more better product in terms of tourism for a tourist to do this as opposed to go like with the driver guide, which has been the standard thing, because
you get a true essence
of what Sri Lanka is,
and you get to really interact with people of your own choice, not people who are like meeting 100 tourists a day or any tourism stakeholders, just real people on the road, and just real views, and nothing that is manufactured just for tourism. The real deal. Throughout this journey, we've been fortunate to meet with a number of people who are living in Sri Lanka and making money online. This has really opened our eyes to the way forward for not only Sri Lankans but everyone in this age of the Great Resignation. Our pal Siva and a lot of people we met in Jaffna learned a variety of skills online, which has developed an alternate stream of income for them outside of their 9-to-5. Similarly, you too can explore a number of new opportunities that are in line with your interests by learning with Skillshare. We've recently begun looking into ways of further monetizing our own business through a series of courses which are well put together and easy to follow. If you've been thinking of diversifying your skill set, which is always a good idea, then we highly recommend taking the 1-month free access we've got for the first 1,000 of you to join Skillshare.
What has the actual situation on the ground been like?
So, I think as somebody that lives in Colombo, we also get fed the news quite a bit. We watch the news internationally and locally, and I was expecting things to be a lot worse than they actually were. Now, hear me out. There are some communities and some groups of people that are really in dire straits.
Probably a lot.
Yes, probably a lot. And we have worked with certain NGOs like Child Fund who are doing amazing work with these communities to help them in a very sustainable way so that they can continue to help themselves once the NGO is out of the picture. And that's the kind of thing that I love to see. But this journey has opened my eyes to something, and that is the fact that Sri Lanka is a very, very sustainable country. It is abundant in food. No matter what you do, you can always grow something thanks to this amazing weather that we have in a pot in your garden or on your rooftop, which is stuff that we are seeing. We're seeing so many more people turning to more sustainable, traditional methods of growing and supporting themselves. We see them turning to more traditional crops and food such as manioc, jackfruit, breadfruit, very, very highly nutritious sources of carbs as well as other vitamins and minerals, etc. So you see Sri Lankan people going back to their roots. So you see them going from what used to be going forward into a very modern, import friendly kind of lifestyle back to their roots, which was always inherently sustainable and healthier and more nutritious for the Sri Lankan
Yeah.
person.
Obviously, it is a lot harder, and no one should have to sacrifice on their quality of living, which is what everyone's talking about. But
is it
really-
really a sacrifice of the quality of your living when you're having less sugar and more nutritious homegrown organic vegetables, and thereby reducing possible illnesses in the future?
Yeah.
It is possibly a reframing that must be done.
Yeah, that's what we saw with our own eyes in the route we covered
Yes.
and the people we met.
It could be different
It
elsewhere.
could be different. Obviously, there are so many causes, and we are not trying to say that there isn't
There
an
is.
issue on the ground. There is, but
But the issue is not a food shortage. It's
Yeah.
more of an increase in the price of proteins, like we discussed,
Yeah.
and so people have to switch to.
nutrient shortage maybe initially.
It's a nutrient shortage, but that is because people are used to eating a certain way. They have their rice, they have their sugar, they have their meat that they buy from the store, and when you take that away from them, which is done by the depreciation of the currency, their money is no longer of much value, then they are struggling with the quality of their life. But what we need to remind the people is that we live in this amazing, tropical, lush, abundant country, and we can all turn back into some of our traditional methods to support us until things get better.
Yeah. I
There's
think
a cat.
can be better.
There's a cat.
Okay.
Meow.
Okay. Next question. The future of Sri Lanka tourism.
We have a very, very good chance to redirect tourism in Sri Lanka to something that is more
Regenerative.
sustainable
And I know these are like
And-
hot topics.
and
a lot
hot
of people
keywords.
that a lot of people are talking about, and we've been listening to both sides of the argument. Obviously, the older model that has been developed and invested into so heavily needs to go on for a while, but this entire crisis, the current situation with the world and where we are positioned right now is honestly
A unique opportunity.
in time for us, and I really hope that we
Can encourage.
encourage and can build this system. I mean, I think it's a lost cause hoping that a government organization or someone would push this forward, because it does not benefit the entire industry yet. But it is something that if we set the right way forward, it will be super beneficial.
The groundwork, if you
The
say
world
that.
is moving towards a
Yes.
more regenerative, sustainable.
Yeah, and we
travel.
know that people want to travel in a sustainable way. We know that people are concerned about coming to Sri Lanka, almost feeling guilty about whether they are taking away resources from us, right? But what we need to encourage people is that this is the kind of travel that you have in Sri Lanka. It's regenerative, it's sustainable, and by choosing to travel there, you are actually almost like if you cycle around Sri Lanka, your carbon footprint is very low.
Yeah. And unlike other countries where there are all these skyscrapers and the entire model is developed around you just traveling and expending a lot of resources, Sri Lanka in itself is an island that is not that developed. It should, in our opinion, it should own that, and
Yeah.
it should convert that into the selling
Point.
point. And we've seen hints of it. Lots of these hotels, some of these jet wing properties that we've been at are so eco-friendly, really embrace that
And really,
model.
and really embracing localization into a
Yeah.
point where you're not localizing anymore because you have to. You're localizing because it makes your product unique, right? You can give the travelers something that they can experience only in Sri Lanka, unique to Sri Lanka.
And I think as a destination, we shouldn't be clamoring to do what Thailand or Bali or anyone else has done before, but instead
Really,
pioneering,
yeah, and-
pioneering the way as to how an island can become such a unique hotspot for
The conscious
sustaining-
traveler,
Yeah, for the conscious traveler, which is the traveler of the future.
the young traveler.
And it may take some time to get there, but in terms of development, it's far less than the development this country
Yeah.
would need to cater to the
and
older
being
market.
and being early to that rising trend is only going to benefit us in the next 5 to 10 years.
Yeah.
So we really
So-
hope that this encourages more conscious travelers to come to Sri Lanka. We also
And-
hope that it encourages stakeholders.
Yeah, and also we as creators really have come to realize that we have a part to play in this, and if there are any of you that can help us understand more, learn more about this topic, and-
We don't know everything about it, but we know
Yeah,
it's
but-
the right way forward
yeah, and we will definitely make it a part of our mission also
to learn more.
and share more and encourage more
Yes.
sustainable and regenerative tourism around Sri Lanka, because it is without a doubt
The way forward.
for this
Thanks.
island. All right,
Anything else?
done. Thank yous.
A big thank you to our partners on this journey. We couldn't have done this without your support, and we are seriously so grateful to have you guys
You know,
on board.
it's not just the hotels we featured. There have been so many people behind the scenes who helped us. You know,
People
yeah,
to hotels to
you know, from helping us to do research on places to visit, to
Helping
taking
us-
us to some really unique experiences.
people who are local to the area, like Siva in Jaffna and Firoz
in Batty.
in Batty. Was it Batty? Before
Yeah,
Batty.
Ampar.
Nintawur. Yeah.
After that.
People like just regular people on the ground who wanted to show us their town, and we really appreciate you guys for wanting to give us that experience, because that really just gives us the chance to give a more authentic experience to the audience. So thank you guys, y'all are legends.
Yeah, and of course to the sponsors of the campaign, Jedwing Hotels has been one of the main ones. Thank you so much. And the others, you know, we couldn't have done this obviously without financial support, and so we are very grateful for those of you who did come on board
Yes.
and help us through this time, because obviously it's very difficult for everyone to find advertising budgets in
Yeah.
this climate.
We embarked
Uh,
on this trip with a purpose, and we really believe in that purpose, and we really believe in the impact that we could possibly make. So we are really grateful for our sponsors for supporting that and for having faith in us and our idea and our plan and our vision.
What is next?
What is next? I love when people ask us what's next when we're doing the thing right now, and all we can think of is finishing the thing that we're doing right now.
Yeah.
But we have so many things planned. Like I said, we can explore this island for the rest of our lives, and there's so much that we can show you and share with you. But
We are hoping to take a more strategic approach,
yes,
focusing on certain areas.
focusing on certain plans for the future.
Yeah.
We don't just want to haphazardly promote tourism in Sri Lanka. We want to make sure that we are doing it in a conscious, helpful, sustainable way to the best of our abilities. And we might make mistakes there because we are still learning. We're not professionals in this tourism field, but we are always open to learning. So we are always open to feedback, and we always read your comments and learn from you guys. So please be gentle with us. But our intentions have always been to shape tourism in Sri Lanka in a better way to the best of our abilities.
Yeah. And yeah, I think that is it. Hopefully we make
So-
it without any issues
Yeah.
to Colombo tomorrow morning. And we'll see you guys at the inland
Finish line.
finish. We honestly can't believe we did it.
I know. Here's to more thinking up crazy ideas and following through.
Yeah.
Cheers to that. Thank you.